Kyra lunges for the weapon. She picks it up, but she does not aim at Oliver. She points the barrel directly at Lucy's head. Kyra screams that Oliver is a good man who only loses his temper when provoked. Lucy does not reach for her holster. She stands still, staring down the gun. She speaks with clinical calm. She tells Kyra that pulling the trigger will not save her relationship. It will only ensure she spends the rest of her life in a cell. Lucy forces Kyra to face the facts. Oliver lost his children because of his own brutality, not because of a conspiracy. The brainwashing cracks. Kyra's hands shake until she finally lowers the weapon. Lucy secures the gun and places Oliver in handcuffs. The rescue is finished, won by facts, in a room filled with desperation. Officers track a missing person's cell phone pings to a derelict kitchen. They find a wall with fresh plaster and a building marked for demolition. One sledgehammer blow reveals a hidden chamber packed with bodies wrapped in heavy plastic. The discovery triggers an immediate collapse of the local gang hierarchy. Rival factions, Quinline and Moses, prepare for war, but the police strike first. At an auto shop, officers corner a semi-truck suspected of moving cargo. Suddenly, a black SUV swerves into the yard. Masked gunmen open fire with automatic weapons, turning the garage into a combat zone. Bullets shatter glass and pierce metal as officers return fire from behind their doors. When the shooting stops, the pavement is littered with casings and corpses. Inside the truck's container, police find hundreds of boxes. They slice open air filters to reveal vacuum-sealed bricks of narcotics. It is a massive seizure, totaling over a ton. However, triumph vanishes during the interrogation. A young informant admits that Elijah Stone, a notorious kingpin, paid him to leak the shipment's location. Stone didn't send his own men to fight. He used the LAPD to do the job. By providing the tip, Stone forced the police to eliminate his rivals and seize their capital. The officers realized they weren't enforcing the law. They were executing a hostile takeover for a criminal mastermind. Elijah Stone has cleaned the streets of his competition without pulling a single trigger. The police did not break the cycle. They secured his monopoly. Landlord Bailey realizes her kindness is a liability. Her tenants, an elderly couple she considered sweet, have not paid rent in 6 months. They use her empathy to occupy the property for free. Her fiancé, Officer Nolan, investigates their background. He discovers the couple are professional squatters who specialize in targeting landlords. They have a history of using legal loopholes to avoid eviction while living in rentals without paying. Nolan and Bailey conduct a surprise inspection at the house. They do not find a struggling elderly couple. Instead, they find a professional camera crew. The tenants are using Bailey's home and furniture as a set for adult films. The production pays $1,500 per shoot, totaling $6,000 a week. The squatters are making a profit while Bailey pays the mortgage. The situation changes when Nolan reviews the lease. He identifies a specific clause that prohibits commercial filming on the premises. This breach of contract bypasses standard squatter protections. Nolan confronts the tenants and drops his professional politeness. He informs them that the illegal filming provides the legal grounds for an immediate and aggressive eviction. He promises to return with full police backup to enforce the law. The pressure works. Fearing criminal charges and a losing court battle, the professional squatters flee the state overnight. Bailey walks through her empty, reclaimed living room. The experience changes her perspective. She decides to sell the house and move on, choosing to invest in her future with Nolan rather than managing a property defined by exploitation. Officer Lucy Chen monitors Kira during a police academy seminar. Kira asks about the mandatory arrest policy for domestic violence. Lucy identifies the specific nature of the question. She follows Kira outside and offers a card for a women's shelter. A car pulls up. Oliver, Kira's partner, orders her to get inside. Lucy displays her badge and intervenes, but Kira enters the vehicle and leaves. Hours later, Lucy receives a panicked phone call. She hears screaming and the sound of a struggle. She traces the location and drives to the house. Lucy kicks the front door open. Oliver has his hands around Kira's throat. Lucy tackles Oliver, and the two fight on the floor. During the scuffle, Lucy's service weapon falls and slides toward Kira. Kira picks up the gun. She points it at Lucy. She defends Oliver, claiming he is a good man who simply gets angry. Lucy stays still. She does not reach for a second weapon. She speaks with flat, clinical precision. She tells Kira that if she fires, Oliver still goes to jail, and Kira goes to prison for life. Lucy lists the facts of the assault she just witnessed. She demands Kira look at the man on the floor. The psychological control breaks. Kira's arm drops. She places the gun on a table. Lucy secures Oliver in handcuffs. The threat is neutralized, but the victim now faces the reality of her own near-fatal choices. Sergeant Tim Bradford and Officer Lucy Chen face a professional ultimatum when their secret relationship violates the police department's chain of command. As supervisor and subordinate, policy dictates that one must leave the division to avoid a conflict of interest. During a shift, the shift in power becomes undeniable. Lucy intentionally misplaces her equipment to see if Tim will reprimand her, but his usual strict discipline has vanished. Their romantic bond has compromised his ability to lead her. At home, the reality of their situation forces a choice. Lucy decides to sacrifice her own career path. She begins searching for transfers to the Hollywood division, willing to take a grueling graveyard shift just to protect Tim's rank. She prepares to walk away from her current position to keep their love legal. However, Tim takes a different path. He enters the captain's office and makes a move no one expects. He applies for the only available role that removes him from Lucy's oversight, court liaison sergeant. This is a stagnant desk job, consisting of endless paperwork and administrative monotony. It is a complete departure from the high-stakes fieldwork that defines his identity as a cop. When Tim reveals his new role to Lucy, the weight of his sacrifice is clear. He gives up his authority, his patrol car, and his reputation as a street-hardened leader. He chooses a life behind a desk and a boring title. He trades his professional power for the simple right to stand beside her without breaking the law. Tim Bradford surrenders his command to secure their future. Elijah Stone turns the legal system into a weapon against the LAPD. He hires attorney Monica Stevens to bury the department in malicious lawsuits targeting specific detectives. Angela Lopez and Nyla Harper conduct surveillance on a known gun runner, following him to a nightclub. They believe they are the hunters, but they are being hunted. Monica Stevens waits in a car outside the venue, documenting their movements. She steps out and confronts the detectives in the street. She records the interaction and threatens to take their badges for harassment. The move is calculated. Internal Affairs is notified, and Angela's professional future is placed under review. The tension follows her home. Her husband, Wesley, checks their shared calendar and finds a synced entry for an obstetrician appointment. The secret is out. Angela returns to the house, facing the reality of her situation. She is pregnant while a top-tier drug lord uses the law to dismantle her life. The timing is a liability. Elijah Stone is no longer just a criminal on the street. He is a shadow over her family. Angela and Wesley stand in their home, weighed down by legal threats and the upcoming birth. They acknowledge the risk. They decide to protect the new life while fighting the man trying to destroy theirs. They refuse to let a lawsuit dictate their survival. The battle is no longer just about the law. It is about the safety of their unborn child. Rookie officer Selena Juarez stands by the hospital bed of Oscar Hutchinson, a notorious criminal. She looks him in the eye and tells him he is going to die. She claims to sense a total darkness surrounding him. Oscar laughs it off, but the threat is immediate. A man Oscar betrayed years ago bursts into the room and attempts to kill him. The police restrain the attacker, but the environment remains hostile. Nolan and Selena notice an inconsistency with the surgical team. They run a background check using VCAP on a man posing as a doctor. The system identifies him as Troy Hoffman, a violent felon who served time with Oscar. They realize the real lead surgeon is being extorted. Hoffman's crew broke into the surgeon's home and is holding her family hostage. The demand is clear. Oscar must die on the operating table or the family will be executed. Nolan and Selena track the kidnapper's location. The captors expect a check-in call every 30 minutes. The last call was 21 minutes ago, leaving a 9-minute window to act. They approach the suburban house from the rear. They breach the entrance and move through the hallways. Nolan corners one gunman in the kitchen. Selena identifies the second kidnapper in the bedroom and neutralizes him with a taser before he can fire. They secure the hostages and signal the hospital. The real surgeon proceeds with the transplant. Oscar saves his daughter's life, fulfilling his role as a donor while remaining under heavy guard. Rookie officer Selena Juarez stares at Oscar Hutchinson, a convicted murderer scheduled for a kidney transplant to save his daughter. She senses a shadow of death around him. Oscar immediately proves his malice by exploiting a loophole. He uses a food delivery app to order a burger, intentionally breaking his pre-surgery fast. The medical team has no choice but to delay the operation for 12 hours. This delay is exactly what Oscar planned, to create a window for his escape. Before the rescheduled surgery, Selena notices a new doctor on the transplant team. His behavior is irregular. She runs his image through the VICAP database. The system returns a match: Troy Hoffman, an ex-con who served time with Oscar. The police realize the medical team has been compromised. The lead surgeon, Dr. Bernard, reveals the truth under extreme pressure. Troy is holding her family hostage. If Oscar doesn't die on the operating table as a planned accident, her husband and son will be killed. Nolan and Selena track the hostage location to a residential home. They breach the perimeter. Inside, they find the family bound and gagged. A gunman prepares to fire, but the officers move faster. They neutralize the threat and secure the house. With the family safe, Oscar's leverage disappears. The police return to the hospital and drag Oscar back to the operating room. They ignore his demands for a new deal. They strap him down and force the procedure to proceed. Oscar's final attempt to trade a kidney for his freedom is crushed. A heat wave triggers a massive power failure across the city. Inside a Hillhaven storage unit, a freezer stops running. The internal temperature rises, and a foul odor fills the corridor. Police cut the lock and open the door. They find a body inside the unit, decomposing rapidly in the heat. The victim is identified as R.J. Cash, a career con artist known for swindling the elderly. Forensic reports confirm the cause of death: mercury poisoning. The toxin was administered systematically. Detectives track RJ's last movements to the home of a former client, an elderly woman. During the questioning, Officer Selena observes the woman's current caregiver. The caregiver's hands exhibit a distinct, involuntary tremor. This is a primary clinical symptom of chronic mercury exposure. The investigation shifts to the elderly woman's professional history. Archives from St. Vincent's Hospital reveal a lethal pattern. Between 1996 and 2005, 9 patients died under her direct care. Every autopsy cited heavy metal toxicity. The woman worked as a nurse, operating as a serial killer for over a decade without detection. RJ Cash attempted to grift a murderer and became her 10th victim. Confronted with the hospital records in an interrogation room, the woman offers no defense. She remains calm, watching the detectives with total indifference. She admits to the poisonings, stating she often feels like she is watching someone else commit the acts. She thanks the officers for stopping her. The decade-long streak of murders ends with a silent arrest and a final entry in the police log. Gang casualties flood the emergency ward, turning the hospital into a high-tension combat zone. Armin, the leader of the Eastern Front gang, is rushed into surgery with multiple gunshot wounds. He dies on the operating table. When the news reaches his brother, Aram, the grief immediately turns into a lethal security breach. Aram refuses to accept the medical outcome. He concludes the police allowed a rival assassin to finish the job inside the facility. He pulls a handgun and opens fire in the crowded hospital corridor. Panic spreads as bullets shatter glass and strike medical equipment. Hospital staff and patients dive for cover while police units on-site transition to active shooter protocols. The attackers move without identification, blending into the chaos. To isolate the targets, officers utilize AFIS, the biometric fingerprint and facial recognition database. They scan the suspects' features in real time, stripping away their anonymity and tracking their movement through the building's surveillance feed. The tactical response narrows to the restricted ward area. Aram leads his remaining gunmen through the hallways, seeking high-value targets for retaliation. Officers coordinate their advance, using heavy doors and gurneys for tactical cover. They pin Aram in a narrow corridor near the intensive care unit. The exchange of fire is brief and controlled. The police outmaneuver the gunmen, neutralizing the threat and forcing Aram to the floor. They secure the cuffs and clear the floor. The revenge plot ends in a sterile hallway, silenced by the cold reality of superior tactical positioning. Police identify a suburban house as a distribution hub for ghost guns and fentanyl. Officer Selena Juarez looks through a side window and spots a 5-year-old girl sitting alone in a bedroom. The building is a high-risk environment. Pure fentanyl powder is being processed inside. Inhaling an amount smaller than a grain of rice is lethal. The officers stage a car accident on the street to draw the manufacturers out of the house. As the suspects move to the porch, Selena slips through the back entrance. She reaches the girl and pulls her into the hallway. A struggle breaks out in the adjacent room, causing a table to flip. A thick cloud of fentanyl powder erupts into the air. Selena realizes she cannot escape the plume. She wraps her body around the child to act as a human shield, inhaling the concentrated poison. She manages to reach the bathroom and shoves the girl through a small window into the arms of her colleagues. Selena collapses into the bathtub. Her lungs stop functioning. Officer Nolan breaches the room and carries her limp body to the front yard. Her skin is pale, and she has no pulse. Sergeant Gray rips open emergency Narcan kits. They spray the antidote into her nose and begin heavy chest compressions. The first dose fails to revive her. After a second dose and continuous pressure on her chest, Selena's body convulses. She gasps for air and opens her eyes. Later, at the hospital, she recovers from the overdose. She traded her life for the child's, and her team brought her back. Metro SWAT coordinates a tactical raid on the Barrio Rosa gang stronghold. The team follows dynamic entry SOPs, assigning specific breach points and movement paths for every officer. Pre-raid surveillance teams monitor the warehouse, recording personnel shifts and defensive barriers. The squad moves into position. As the first team reaches the entrance, a concealed IED detonates. The explosion hits the officers at the breach point. Multiple team members fall with life-threatening injuries. The area becomes a scene of chaos and medical emergencies. Officer Bradford begins a review of the mission's intelligence logs. He identifies a breach in the pre-raid surveillance data. The gang did not guess the entry point, they were told. Bradford tracks the source of the leak to a veteran teammate nicknamed Mad Dog. He finds Mad Dog standing on a rooftop at night. Bradford confronts him with the evidence of the sabotage. Mad Dog does not offer an excuse. He admits he handed over the tactical. Lucy Chen analyzes the police personnel database to find an exit for Tim Bradford. He is currently stuck in a court liaison role with no clear path back to the field. Lucy identifies a systemic bottleneck. Every department is at a standstill. She maps a solution on a glass partition using color-coded sticky notes. The plan requires a 5-person chain reaction. If Officer Fuji retires, Watson transfers to Vice. This allows Prim to move into Motors, which shifts Hicks into a new vacancy. The final result is a single open slot in the Metro Division, the exact position Tim needs to return to active duty. The success of the trade hinges entirely on Officer Fuji's departure. Lucy targets Smitty as the catalyst. Smitty and Fuji were academy classmates, but share a strained, hostile history. Lucy offers Smitty a transaction. He must convince Fuji to retire. She provides the necessary leverage, a head of security position at a private network in San Jose, paying $400,000 annually. Smitty accepts the terms in exchange for an unspecified future favor. He executes the pitch, focusing on the salary and the proximity to Fuji's family. The personnel logic holds. Fuji submits her retirement papers to accept the private sector offer. The chain reaction begins immediately. Watson, Prim, and Hicks move into their designated roles as predicted. 15 minutes after the paperwork clears, Lieutenant Pine calls Tim. He is officially transferred back to Metro. Lucy's calculated maneuver restores Tim to the front lines, proving that personnel files are just another data set to be manipulated. The FBI activates the signal tracing system to pinpoint long-distance Argentina. Jump over joint task force to find a high-stakes exchange in Providence. Monica is meeting Jacob Simpson, a Swiss financier linked to international trafficking. She intends to trade the kidnapped witness for London for her company. No one watches from the ridge as the transaction begins, and decides he cannot wait for a sanctioned plan. Breaks cover and charges down the hillside, meeting a lead dissolves into a tactical bloodbath. Homestead security team unleashes a heavy machine gun fire from behind armored SUVs, hitting the task force head. Nolan reaches Blair through the crossfire and drags him forward. As the reaches the door, high velocity round pierces Nolan's head and sends him straight into the rain. Manages to show Blair his before the team falls from the side. Humphrey kills Owen for a whole ambulance, while Mark and shoots and breaks Nolan survives the emergency surgery. Back in Los Angeles, while Nolan attempts to recover, he receives a priority call from Sergeant Gray. The news from the state prison is absolute. Oscar Hutchinson and Jason Weiler have escaped. They are gone. The crisis in Argentina was a calculated distraction. While Nolan was bleeding in a foreign field, his greatest enemies were walking out the front gates. Tim Bradford enters the Metro Division and immediately faces a room-clearing drill. The instructor stops him, declaring him dead multiple times in front of the unit. Despite years of decorated service, the elite squad treats him as a rookie. The instructor mocks his posture and technique, dismissing his patrol experience as irrelevant to high-stakes operations. In the locker room, the hazing escalates. The veteran officers surround him, demanding he prove his loyalty by receiving company ink. They press temporary unicorn stickers onto his skin, watching for a crack in his composure. Tim remains silent, absorbing the mockery to secure his place in the unit. The environment shifts from training to a live kidnapping rescue. Tim is assigned as the lead for Alpha Team. He moves through the darkened compound with mechanical precision, coordinating movements over the tactical radio. He filters out the noise, focusing solely on the suspect's positions. As the team breaches the final room, Tim identifies multiple armed hostiles. He controls the space, neutralizing threats, while maintaining sightlines. One suspect reaches for a hidden grenade, intending to trigger a mass casualty event. Tim recognizes the movement instantly, intercepting the suspect and securing the weapon before the pin is pulled. The operation ends with the hostages safe and all suspects in custody. The jokes about stickers and rookie mistakes stop. Tim stands among the elite, his authority established not by his previous rank, but by a textbook display of tactical dominance under live fire. Firefighters across Los Angeles are being executed in broad daylight. Sniper rounds pierce the air at active fire scenes, turning rescue zones into kill boxes. Multiple paramedics are down, shot, while attempting to save lives. The shooter targets uniforms, specifically those belonging to the LAFD. Detective Lucy initiates a massive data sweep to find the source of the violence. She combs through thousands of personnel files, lawsuits, and disciplinary complaints. She identifies a pattern of extreme aggression tied to one individual, Anthony Pickett. Pickett is a failed recruit who washed out during his probationary period. He holds a lethal grudge against the institution that rejected him. He operates from a red sedan, using the vehicle as a mobile cover for his long-range attacks. Lucy issues a citywide all-points bulletin. Police units establish a perimeter, narrowing the search to a specific grid. They locate the red sedan in a dimly lit parking garage. Pickett is cornered, but he refuses to surrender. He makes a sudden, calculated move toward the trunk of his car. Intelligence suggests he has stockpiled grenades and high-capacity rifles to maximize casualties in a final stand. Officers intercept him with weapons drawn. The standoff is immediate. They provide clear, lethal ultimatums, refusing to give him an inch of space. Pickett stares at the muzzles of multiple service pistols. The psychological pressure breaks his resolve. He abandons the trunk and slowly raises his hands. Officers force him to the concrete and secure the zip ties. Anthony Pickett is taken into custody before he can trigger a terror upgrade. The hunt ends. Monica meets Gondo in a concrete parking garage. Gondo demands $2 million and 10% of her business to cancel the contract on her life. Monica agrees, but the deal is a trap. She has already sold Gondo out to Swiss investors. The LAPD monitors the exchange and prepares a counter ambush. Sergeant Bradford sets the perimeter at a crowded laundromat. Detective Lopez disguises herself as a homeless woman, pushing a stroller filled with garbage. She takes her position at the red zone point. The team waits in unmarked vehicles, bound by a strict legal requirement. They cannot engage until the assassins draw their weapons. Gondo enters the laundromat to collect his payment. A black SUV stops at the curb. Three men in black hoodies and surgical masks exit the vehicle. They converge on the entrance while a gray pickup truck blocks the rear escape route. The hitmen pull suppressed handguns. Lopez draws her weapon and opens fire. The laundromat transforms into a corridor of flying glass and lead. Detectives swarm the building, engaging the hitmen at point-blank range among the rows of washing machines. One suspect attempts to flee in the pickup truck. Bradford sprints and dives into the moving truck bed. He shatters the rear glass, wrestling the driver for control as the vehicle swerves through traffic. The truck crashes into a parked car. The LAPD swarms the wreckage, pinning the survivors to the pavement. The ambush ends with the hitmen in zip ties and Gondo in custody. Sergeant Gray establishes a secret war room inside the police station. He limits access to a small circle of trusted officers to prevent further leaks. The mission is to identify how many police investigations Blair London has sabotaged. Blair, the department psychologist, has been extracting secrets from officers and selling confidential intelligence to criminal organizations. Officers use a cloud forensics tool to bypass encrypted communications and extract Blair's history. They trace her background back to graduate school. A digital trail reveals she moderated a legal panel featuring Monica Stevens, a high-profile defense attorney who represents the city's most dangerous syndicates. The financial motive is clear. Blair harvests sensitive data during therapy sessions and feeds it to Monica for a massive profit. Officer Nolan tracks Blair while she is driving and calls her with a cold ultimatum. He states the department has proof of her alliance with Monica. He warns her that unless she surrenders immediately, she will be arrested and placed in general prison population, where she will not survive the night. Blair breaks under the pressure. She admits Monica manipulated her and agrees to testify in exchange for protection. Blair changes course and heads toward FBI headquarters. A black SUV suddenly swerves and rams her vehicle. Masked individuals jump out and shatter her driver's side window with a hammer. They press a suppressed pistol against her head and force her to unlock the door. They drag her into the back of their vehicle and speed away. Monica's team secures the witness before the police can intervene. Police deploy the Justice Eye system to dismantle Elijah's legal defense. They link his attorney, Monica, to a bribery scheme involving a murdered judge. Officers intercept her in a public lobby and serve a warrant to seize every client file. Monica's claims of privilege vanish under the weight of the bribery evidence. She is handcuffed and removed, leaving the drug lord legally exposed. Next, the FBI creates a strategic vacuum. They execute secret arrests of Elijah's top lieutenants, ensuring zero media coverage. Elijah receives no status reports and assumes a rival cartel is purging his organization. His ego dictates his response. He leads a retaliatory strike personally. stepping directly into the task force's funnel. As Elijah's convoy moves through Los Angeles, the track surveillance software maintains a constant lock. Agents use multi-point relay positioning to stay invisible while guiding the target toward a designated safe house. Inside the perimeter, tactical teams wait in total silence. Elijah arrives with his remaining gunmen, believing he is about to eliminate his competition. He approaches the entrance, weapon drawn, ready to initiate the breach. At the final moment, Elijah detects a subtle anomaly in the surroundings. He signals an immediate retreat before the police can close the circle. He escapes the house, but the damage is irreversible. His lieutenants are in custody, his lawyer is in a cell, and his secret files are in federal hands. Elijah remains free, but he is now a commander without an army, stripped of his protection by a textbook trap. Training officer Lucy Chen visits Ridley's high school to verify his background. She discovers his stories of heroism are fabrications. He did not save a life at a party, a classmate's father performed the CPR, the girl he claimed died in a car accident was not his girlfriend, they never actually met. Inside the patrol car, Lucy confronts Ridley with these facts. Ridley sits in silence before admitting to a pattern of compulsive lying. He explains that deep insecurity drives him to invent a more impressive past to gain respect from his peers. He promised to leave the habit behind when he joined the LAPD, but a panic attack on his first day triggered the old behavior. Lucy remains firm. She tells her supervisor that the stakes in police work are too high for a dishonest officer. She decides to remove Ridley from the training program immediately. As she prepares to finalize the dismissal, Ridley approaches her and Sergeant Bradford at the station. He hands them a folder of medical lab results. The documents reveal a different truth. Ridley's cancer has returned. He hid his medical condition and padded his history because he feared being sidelined or pitied. He admits he lied to protect his